All right, what's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and CreateSpace. A link will be in the description box below as usual. This video is entitled The Conservative Social Justice Warrior. Normally, social justice warrior is a liberal, democratic, either ideology or stereotype to say that these people are in some ways protesting the system and they just want to tug at the heartstrings of people and actually never put in the work to actually fix the situation, right? That's kind of the stereotype that's put out about social justice warriors, which the crazy part about it is it's looked at as a bad term when as social justice warrior. When you put it together, it's like, so people who are socially fighting for justice are frauds, basically. Now, I think conservatives do the same thing. I really do. And these protests kind of prove it. You know, America, conservative, the quote-unquote conservative ideology it proves it to a degree. Because everything about what upsets the conservative base is what upsets basically white values. Nobody else. Not conservative values. Not conservative values as a whole, just white conservative values. If you don't see things like white people or white conservatives and it's offensive to their sensibilities, they will protest and fight to the death to preserve their ideology. Even if their ideology doesn't work for anybody else but them. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, with these protests, like I said this before, I mean, I'm not into protesting and marching and all that stuff because of, ultimately, boycotts are more important than protests, in my opinion. That's why. You affect people's money, they'll listen to you better than you just trying to appeal to their heart and their nature. Because I think this country has proven for hundreds of years that morally it's bankrupt. So you affect finances, that's what affects people's morals in this country. That's just my opinion. Now, but you basically have people telling other people when to protest, how to protest, what they should protest against, because what they are protesting is making the people who are watching the protest uncomfortable. Now, what's odd is the things that these people protest, these quote-unquote social justice warriors, the things that they protest against, for some odd reason, these conservatives are comfortable with the things that they're speaking about happening until it affects them. Now, here's the thing. You're disrespecting the flag, you're disrespecting the military. That's a deflection. Problem with that is this. Most of you people disrespect the flag and disrespect this country all the time. So, you know, with the last president, that was the most death threats of all presidents combined because of his race. Basically, you can't sugarcoat that. That disrespects the office, right? Which disrespects the face of America, which disrespects the flag and disrespects the country and disrespects the military because he was the commander in chief. Nobody had a problem with the lynching, with the hanging them by a rope and setting them on fire type of things. And nobody had a problem with that. That was all freedom of speech, right? When conservatives was doing that. And that wasn't disrespectful to the flag or the military when you make those type of protest and political statements because it was under your freedom of speech, right? Citizens, countless citizens who got on actual news networks saying that he should be killed. That wasn't disrespectful. But new president, and I'm not putting this really on a new president, but I'm just using this as an example before I get into some of these things I'm about to say. New president, and people hop on this, yeah, don't disrespect the flag and don't disrespect our military. Well, the president that you are currently in support of and that you voted in office has disrespected the POW, has disrespected the Gold Star family, has disrespected veterans who committed suicide from PTSD. So, and this is the commander-in-chief now, right? So exactly what are you saying? Some of you people want the freedom to tell people when to protest and when not to protest. And I can guarantee you at one of these NASCAR events, there are going to be people standing in attention, hands on their heart, singing the national anthem with a Confederate flag somewhere on their person. Isn't that protesting the flag? You see, why I call these people conservative social justice warriors? Because they want things to go back to the good old days and stay in the good old days. And the question is, good old days for who? Ask a Native American. Nobody asks Native Americans what is the good old days for Native Americans. Nobody in America. Nobody asked black people what were the good old days for black people in America. Nobody asked Asians what are the good old days for Asians in America. Nobody asks what are the good old days for Hispanics in America. Nobody asks these questions. Everybody has to be under the umbrella of white America's ideology of what is good, right, and just. When something is proper, when something is necessary, when something should be protested, when something should be spoken up against, when you should sit down for something. And here's the problem. This is why I say you conservatives are social justice warriors. You want people to protest when you want them to protest. You see, when you tell people, oh, pray for France, when you tell people to, how can I say, pray for terrorist attacks against Britain or pray for 9/11 victims or show your support for these particular people, and we're going to come together and everybody unite. But you don't unite when you say, oh, pray for Kenya. Oh, pray for Japan. Pray for Thailand. Pray for Venezuela. Pray for Mexico. You're not going to do that. You never do that. Matter of fact, nobody's saying pray for Puerto Rico, and Puerto Rico is part of the United States, and it was hit with a hurricane twice. Because those people, Puerto Rico is not a majority, is really not a white commonwealth, right? If Hawaii got hit, I don't think people would care because the population in Hawaii is Polynesian, Hawaiian and Polynesian, right? And Asian. So would they care? No. I live in Texas. Texas just got hit with a massive hurricane. And everybody stand strong for Texas. Texas strong. Why? Because at the heart of it, Texas is looked at as a big old white state. See, we can protest for that. We can come together for that. We can stand in unison in that. But also because that's a natural disaster. That's not a group of people doing something to another group of people, right? which is a different story. But even with that, people want you to do what they want you to do when they want you to do it, which is a problem. So when you're telling people, I want you to speak your mind, but only when you're speaking your mind about something that I agree with, you're crazy. I want you to have freedom of speech, but I only want you to use it when you're going to say something that I want you to say. I want you to have freedom of religion, but I only want you to practice Christianity because I'm comfortable with Christianity. I want you to have freedom of press, but I only want you to report the things that I want you to report that make me comfortable and make me feel superior. You know what I mean? That is the hypocrisy of the quote-unquote conservative social justice warrior. You know, I want to control the narrative. And if the narrative makes me uncomfortable and my sensibilities uncomfortable, we need to actually destroy the narrative that makes me feel uncomfortable. Demonize the narrative that makes me feel uncomfortable. Because how dare you say or do something or bring up a fact that goes against my reality? You know, that's why I said, you know, all of the people who are tripping about these current protests, which I think are probably, I don't know, my feeling is they're going to die out. They would say nothing. All of these people would be complete, utter hypocrites and all take a knee if they were kneeling for Blue Lives Matter. That is truly my belief. If you say everybody kneel for the anthem for, you know, Blue Lives Matter, first responders in the military who were unjustly killed by insurgents and the ISIS and the bad black-on-black crime criminals. We're protesting against, you know, these slain people who have been wrongly killed. I think it all united, and everybody unite with us. You can't have it both ways. So I think you're full of it, you know. You're full of it. You're conservative social justice warriors when you say it's people's right to bear arms, but only certain people can go out in public and do that. See, that's part of the conservative social justice warrior mindset when it came to the Black Panthers. That's how the Black Panthers became a terrorist group, when the Black Panthers was walking around with rifles and guns just like other people who was their legal right to do it, but the black ones couldn't do it. No. That's revolutionary. But you didn't protest the Bundys taking over a federal building. You sent them material. Now, some people did, because I know there was a bunch of people who were sending them like dildos and stuff like that. But that was revolt against the government, right? You and your government and your states and your local municipalities and people there acquitted these guys when they protested in revolt against the country. When they basically took over federal property as an armed militia. And they used the Second Amendment for that, right? That was okay. You wanted people to stand up when the guy got shot during that. That was okay. When the KKK members and the Nazis protest, you tell people that's okay. That's their freedom of speech. The only problem with that is this. Nazis aren't protected, freedom of speech aren't protected in America because their group isn't from America. That was from Germany, and Germans don't want any part of that group. Confederates and people who wave the Confederate flag are not under the protections of the Constitution, because that was a faction of America that got beat because they were in direct opposition to the Constitution. But when you're a conservative social justice warrior, that doesn't matter, because that doesn't fit the narrative, because you want people to have the freedom to do what they want to do when it's convenient for you. That's just my opinion. We out.